I'm working on getting the other side of the perspective. I want it here. We're making connections this next week. So,
and honestly, that's I struggle because with both sides, right?
yeah,
Um, because I want someone who's just gonna sit down and say, okay, here's what I think, here's where I lean, but here's what bothers me about my side. Here's what
sure.
bothers me about this side of the argument. Like, I don't know, you guys know who Charlie Kirk is?
No,
Definitely just an outspoken conservative, pro-Trump. Uh, or like Ben Shapiro would be similar. You know,
yeah,
you guys know. Okay, so
very
these guys,
familiar.
right? And but the problem I have is that not all they want to say, but when it comes to the differing opinion, the other side, all they want to do is, again, I hesitate to say all they want to do,
Yeah,
but it seems like most of what I hear is they're deceived, they're idiots, there's nothing good.
yeah,
There's nothing good because and a lot of these people I probably make an income off of their podcast, off of their whatever. I follow some other ones as well. And it's like, and so that's how you get the views, I guess. You know, you make a bold statement I guess that's sad because that's just the state of the country. You know, I think politicians is really one way, it's a reflection of the people, you know. This
yes,
is like we're
yes,
in this because not there's weird people up front, no, because we put them there. You know, this is if you don't like who's in there, part of it is due to you, you know,
yeah,
and this is a reflection of us. But
yeah,
I guess that's the problem I just have is that whether it's the left or right, they don't want to say, you know, here's actually what I value in the other side's opinion. Here's actually what I value. Here's the problems and the holes I see in my side, you know, that I'm not really able to answer like I would like. But instead they want to say, I am completely right. Here's my list of facts that makes me right, you know, and here's a video of the other side looking like an idiot and me looking okay.
yeah,
And the other side, same thing. Here's my list of facts. Here's why I'm completely right in everything I do. And here's why you're an idiot if you don't agree with me, you
yeah,
know? And it's like, oh gosh. And to give credit, I mean, some of these issues, like literally, like personally for me, abortion, I do not know how to see it other than homicide or genocide at this point.
yeah,
That is not just a political issue to me, right? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? I mean, this is a matter of conscience. This is a matter of, in from what I believe, life and death. And so it does make sense that there would be passion. It does make sense that there would be a fire and a tension in conflict, right?
yep,
I don't think we can throw this pie in the sky idea that, oh, we should all be able to disagree in this manner that's, I think that's just kind of like just saying, hey, all religions should coexist. You know, it's like, great, just start that message, go preach you know, go preach that to the jihad, start there, like see how
yeah.
that goes, so anyway, sorry, I'm getting off, but
No, you're good. Feel free to go off whenever you want. Yeah, I'm very familiar with Ben Shapiro. I used to listen to his like daily. I just couldn't listen to it after a while. It's
the
just
Daily
too
Wire.
negative, too whiny.
Yeah, yeah,
When he
yeah.
comes on the Joe Rogan podcast, it's enjoyable. He's
Mm,
more himself. I feel like
mm,
what you said about the show. He's putting on a production. He's an entertainer as well. And
yeah.
so if you get him on, I don't know if you've seen him on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Nah, man, I need to check that out.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it because you get a better conversation because Joe is a little more on the left, and so they'll
Yeah,
push back, and that's a great conversation.
yeah.
But I
Huh.
don't I don't listen to Ben because it's too much. I don't I like I said I want to see the honoring. I think what you're talking about. I want to see the honoring, the love towards the other side as human beings, as our brothers and sisters. Like you don't talk to people you love like that. You don't call them idiots or
Yeah.
pig face woman or whatever Trump would say and stuff. I mean, it's
Yikes. Yeah.
both sides. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But like you said, Hunter, it is a reflection of our nation. Maybe not me specifically,
Yeah. Right. Right.
or you, but on large, I mean, our country. You see online. I mean, that's not everybody,
Yeah.
but you see a certain percentage of people online that are just horrible towards each other. So
Yeah.
it's a big problem for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Anything else on? I forget even what topic we were on, but I wanted to kind of kind of go back the last couple of, have you guys seen anything about rioting or anything lately?
I think the most recent thing I've been aware of is just Breonna Taylor and how that I think the officers went to trial or something like that
Gotcha.
and
Yeah, that was
were
actually,
found innocent or whatever, something like that. That's very vague and very like, I think kind of along the lines of what happened.
gotcha. Jason, I'm familiar with this case. Jason, are you familiar with it?
Yeah.
You are? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start there, and we can talk about race and police brutality and stuff like that. But let's start with this specific case. Jason, what do you know about the case? When did you first hear it? Because this case was a while ago, and it just recently went to trial and stuff.
What you're asking? What do I know?
Yeah, what was your kind of perspective at first? Mine changed over time, actually. I was believing one way, and then I had a twist this last week or so.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, kind of the issue with this particular event, one of the things is in regards to what they call, I think they call it no knock search warrants.
Yeah.
And so, you know, going back to the event, the police showed up, I believe, at Breonna Taylor's apartment or home, looking not for her, but for, I believe, her boyfriend or maybe an ex-boyfriend, but somebody that was there in the apartment. And as I understand it, that gentleman, well, I don't know that we should call him a gentleman, but that person shot at the police through the door. And then, of course, they returned fire, and that is how she got, actually, that's how she got killed. So that's what I know. That's my understanding of the situation.
Gotcha. Hunter, did you know anything differently, or is that similar?
Kind of, yeah. I watched a video that kind of broke it down. However, this is the problem. Like anything I watch, I do not know how much of it to believe, you know,
Yeah.
because if I believe it and it's on the right, the left, you're disqualified, you know, and same vice versa. Originally, you hear, okay, yeah, something sketchy's going down. They have a no-knock warrant. Why do we even have those? That's ridiculous, you know, or whatever. They go in and shoot her in bed. Like,
Yeah, that was the
what
story.
the freak? Like, you know, and so obviously I'm just like, well, that sounds really, I mean, that sounds something went wrong there. That doesn't sound right, you know?
Yeah.
And then hearing that, okay, no, she wasn't in bed. She was in the hallway. They had a no-knock warrant, but they knocked anyway, you know, just stuff like this. And so I don't know, that's kind of where, yeah, man, this stuff is.
So that's the thing. That's the thing with these. So we've talked about a couple of situations on this show, and so this is a perfect example. Exactly what you're saying, Hunter. That was what I heard at the beginning. The cops just barged in, shoot the girl. The title is always "Black Girl Shot by Cops, Racist Cops in her bed while she was sleeping, praying to God," or whatever. You know, they write it as horrific for the police as possible. Well, so I thought, hey, man, something's wrong here. So it goes to trial. Well, it actually wasn't a no-knock warrant. That was like just what the media had like Hunter said. They did knock. They did announce. They had witnesses, and they were shot at. So the district attorney, the attorney general, the jury, they basically came out and said, hey, we have all the evidence. Like, we've looked at it all. We are black. The head guy's black. The jury was mostly black, I believe. So it was like, this is not a sign of racism. And here I am. I could be completely wrong, but this is what my understanding is now. And so I switched. And so we see this time and time again. We have to be careful. Both sides, like you said, Hunter, we can't just believe what the right says. We can't believe what the left says. We have to go to the source. So I went and looked at the case and the evidence that they put, and it seems like they came to the right conclusion. However, it's a little too late because the majority of people who are upset about this believe still to this day that the cops went in there shooting and just killed this poor little black girl in her bed, and she wasn't in her bed. so it's a horrible tragedy, and it's just that's just not what I hate that though. I hate that the truth is so hard to get to and whatever. Um, but
Yeah.
overall, I hear the Black community. I hear a lot of different communities. They feel 100% that there's racism to the point where cops are shooting Black people. That is a real feeling
Yeah.
that people are feeling. And we've talked a little bit about this. I kind of want you to share whatever you want, Hunter, about this. But what's on your heart? I know there is stuff on your heart about this topic.
Yeah, you know, ever since George Floyd, it's just been I think God has done some things in my life. You know, I've really had to just think about some things, question like, you know, what is the reality of racism in our country, and how do I engage these things, you know, because I have close friends that, you know, it affects them where I stand, you know, and so, and
Yeah,
then part of me is just like, okay, on one hand, like, should I just shut up? I'm white, you know, like, oh, and I feel like what I'm hearing immediately with George Floyd, I just felt like trapped and closed in, you know, like, okay, you're white. The only thing you get to say is this. If you're not saying this, shut up,
yeah,
you know? Um, and I don't know facts. I still don't know. So often the facts are just blurred. Like even with, you know, Trump, like I read through, I'm like, I want to see what the heck has Trump even done, you know? So I read through, okay, here's a list of things he's done. I couldn't repeat back to you. He you know, he did some jobs. He got some jobs. This is stuff with the military, I think, you
yeah,
know. But I can't, you know, it's a blur. You know, I need to memorize this stuff, I guess, you know. And so, um, when it comes to like, well, what are your facts that you know, because personally, man, I don't know, man. It's just such a huge issue, man. And the conversation is gonna go. You've got to start with the worldview, right, that you have. And so I'm a
yeah,
Christian. I believe in Jesus, and so the way I understand the world is to be broken and fractured by sin. So is there racism that exists in this country? 150% yes.
yeah,
Is it at the highest levels? Yes. Now, to what degree and extent does it influence our country? Our I don't know.
mm,
Um, but when it comes to, okay, we need to start making all of these drastic changes based on this belief that um, these things are all motivated by racism. It's not that, oh, I have these hard facts. I just look at it and I'm just like, something within me doesn't make sense here. That doesn't seem to be a wise thing, or it seems that there's so much emotion that
yeah,
is driving here, not a like necessarily truth. You have your truth, but then you inflate it all with emotion. So I don't know. And when it comes to man, I hate how I just can jump off the train
no,
mid
you're good.
thought.
This is what this is
Um
for.
yeah, uh it might come back to me, but I don't know. I mean, I'll let you guys kind of talk.
That's,
That's kind of where I'm at, trying to articulate it. You know, it's
yeah,
been a struggle these past months to even learn how do I articulate this? How do I struggle? You know, because I had shared something that really offended one of my close friends and several other people. You know, that came at me, and I didn't realize the impact of what I was posting, what it would do. I was kind of like, man, I feel like I'm hearing everything from this is all I'm hearing. I feel trapped. I see these church leaders having this perspective that I don't totally understand. I don't feel comfortable agreeing with totally. I don't feel comfortable jumping on this wagon, you know? And so I felt trapped. And then I saw this video and I was like, wow, this is a really different perspective. You know,
mhm,
and it's like, oh, and I shared it and I was like, you know, I don't know about everything here, but this seems like a valuable perspective. And some people just came at me, you know, and I'm not saying, oh, I'm a victim. No, it was unwise of me to do that. I did it in a lot of ignorance, I think. But it was just kind of like, wow, okay, now I have to deal with this. I have to deal with the consequences of sharing this and how that hurts so and so and how I've got to engage. And so it was a humbling process, but it also, I think, helped me kind of like really think and navigate through this and pray, like, God, where should I be in this? Like, where should my view be? Like, how should I engage this, you know, as a leader in a church? Like, how do I love and engage people in the midst of this stuff, you know? So anyway.
Yeah.
So Hunter, why, and obviously I don't know what you're talking about specifically, but on one hand you say you posted this video that you felt like, having watched it, it had a good, you know, it had a point of view that you felt like ought to be shared. And then you say, well, that was a mistake. I probably shouldn't have done that. What, can you give more detail on that? What is it you regret about that? Was it just the fact that it hurt people, or
I don't think it was wise of me at the time to share. I think it was ignorant, and I don't know, you know, because I later was like, yo, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. I may not believe, you know, everything this person says. I might not be, you know, because I think that's so just to be honest, it was that, I think it was going around quite a bit. It was that Candace Owens video of her basically saying, yo, here's what I think about George Floyd.
Yeah.
And I just think for me, in the position that I was in, that it wasn't a well thought through decision of, oh, I'm going to post this because I believe the Spirit is leading me to kind of share this and engage in this conversation. It was me being hurt, emotionally just wounded and struggling and angry, and saying, yo, here's this, you know? And so I think from my heart that it wasn't something motivated by the Holy Spirit to share. Now, the content of the video, what she said, personally, I think I would agree with a lot of it. That's what I mean. But that doesn't mean because I agree with something, I'm going to go share it and post it and put it in people's faces and propagate it. Now, I don't know. Does that make any more sense, Jason? For me, I am overwhelmed by the complexity, that it's not as simple as, I believe something, here's what I'm going to do about it. It's, okay, I'm also trying to lead and love people that differ than me, that are in different places, that are going through things. And a lot of what I see, you know, is that when it comes to like politics and issues like this, is people do not know what to do with their pain. So they go here. So they do this. And so it's like trying to navigate now, like, oh, okay, like this isn't, let's go deeper to like, man, there's something going on in this person's heart. How do I love them